Welcome to One Voice Nigeria podcast, where we believe that one day we will achieve the Nigeria of our dreams.
Welcome to the second part of a two-part series we had with author and poet Cash Onadele, speaking about a hope for a new Nigeria. So this was over a phone call I had with him. So guys, forgive all the sounds you're hearing, but really just listen to the content because he really shares some really interesting ideas on how to create this new Nigeria. I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Right? Now, the scribes are collating the aspirations of the people. They are consolidating them. They are setting out the ones that stand to the side. They're setting out ones that are together and the same. And some common thing comes out of that. Now, when they have done that, I believe they can then declare that they have their social change agenda. From that point, they've come to the regional level. There are 6 regions in the country. And when those 6 regions, as they stand today, meet, they should be able to say, this is our social change agenda. These are the primary things that people love. These are the secondary things they love. And these are the tertiary things that need to be dealt with by government. And then a movement like the NSAS movement need to come out every 90 days, demanding based on the priorities of those who met at the regional level.
That's a powerful one. Freedom plan.
And they can go and negotiate with the federal government. This we want you to do every 90 days. And as that is going on in parallel, there is need for the youth of this country not to register 2 parties, not to register 3 parties, not 4 parties, not a show-wearing party. 1. They should register the Nigerian Youth Alliance as a party. 1 party. And they should agree that they are not going to break into factions. Because if they break into factions, the existing PDP and whatever it is party, they will muscle them out. But if they can sing that one Ross voice for the nation, even if in later years they're going to break into parties, but until they take over, they should stay one party. And let them start inviting all their friends who live overseas to come back and give talks. The area you're working, how can that be useful in Nigeria? You're a medical doctor practicing in UK. You're a teacher in Finland.
I like this. They
need to bring them back. And as they're bringing them back, some of them are going to be interested in staying and saying, you know what, finally there is a train I can be part of. I have a way of helping my nation. Because whichever way you look at it, there is no place like home. Even the richest Nigerian in Chicago wants to come home. But the question is the home a place on the map, a roof over your head, or a channel that takes you in or takes you out, or a place where you see your loved ones and you have hope for your nation?
Well said, sir. Well said. This is brilliant. I think everyone that listens to this episode is just going to...
We have that train.
Enjoy this.
That's where those young ones who are away connect with the train. But they must now work together on that train to select those who have emerged from working on village level, working on, a city level. These are people who have emerged.
Emergent leadership.
Agree amongst themselves and vote amongst themselves and say, if you have been a leader in this process, where do you want to contest? And then, through volunteering, they need to have knowledge. Most of the people who are ministers, most of the people who are in elected offices in Nigeria are not educated. I mean, not educated does not mean going to school, but they do not know the Constitution. Okay. They don't know how they are supposed to propose something on the floor. They have not taken. So each of these, they now have to have these volunteers, lawyers, people who have been previous in my generation who have got the opportunity to serve, should not be able to come and tell them, as a senator, this is what you do. As a senator, create these social change classes. If you are in local government, this is what good governance means. They should start giving them that opportunity. They got that 2-year ramp up. And in those 2-year ramp up, they should not contest. They should not contest for anything more than gubernatorial. Don't follow in 2023. Don't fight for president. Let Tinubu and all those of the old guard, let them fight it. But take all the local government and take most of the state government.
So in 2023, let me see if I got what you said. 2023, don't fight for presidency, fight for state level and local government level, correct?
Take it. Because that is the real engine of the nation. Build and prepare yourself the next 4 years. Let someone emerge or a group emerge. Even put them together over the next 4 years. Let them form a shadow government. Let them be preparing them, brood them for 4 years. They got 4 years, brood them, 23 to 27, brood them. Let them mature. Let them travel to different places. Let them go and see the best that I talked about. Let them mature in shadow. Any of them do not need to be currently serving in a particular role. But the presidency, if all the states or majority of the states are controlled by the youth and the houses are filled by the youth, they have those 4 years also to change the laws that they do not like.
Okay, this is good. And I know we're running short of time, but I like this idea, this metaphor, analogy, I would say, of the train and how different people fit in. So if we look at this conversation on a whole, we spoke about the role artists should play on this train. We've spoken about the role diaspora should play. Under that, there are different forms of, even bringing professionals in different fields. We're now talking about in the government, how we can come in, how the youth can come in by taking the state levels and local government levels. Now, let me ask you one thing, sir, before you go. What role does entrepreneurship play on this train?
Okay. So,
and the degrees of change train. Should we call it the degrees of train?
So on these degrees of change train, you will see that they need to be part of the discussions and the social change agenda, because they know where the pains are in doing business. I'm going to give you a short example. In 1998, I came to Dallas City Council to register a business, and in 11 minutes, I had all my papers signed and approved to start my own company. 11 minutes flat. So think about that for a second. Right? Those who do business know where the challenges are to doing business. They must contribute these things and suggest solutions that will make, business, do something about it. And they must also be willing to be supported by providing funds. I mean, they did it in NSAS. They brought money, they brought food, so if the train is moving, they must be, most of the others may not be able to contribute much when it comes to capital, but they could finance things and support things. Okay. And when they're going to run campaigns, who's going to contribute? The business, people who own businesses right now have more money than somebody who has not been paid salaries for 5 months, right? You see what I'm saying? So they have a role to be contributors of where business needs to be done, how it needs to be done. What are the plans? What are the challenges? You cannot go and register a business in China. You must have a Chinese who registers a business and you become a partner.
Okay.
So, but the Chinese are here in our country starting businesses and all those type of stuff. So the people who are entrepreneurs will tell you, well, this is what goes on there. That's the kind of protection I also want here in order to make it. Right?
Yeah.
So the current tax system is so flawed and so messed up. They may say, look, when you create this agenda, give us a 10% flat on revenues or profit as what we contribute for the next 10 years. And you will see how we're going to grow. Make us more competitive or create certain markets for us. They've got to come into that. They've got to be on that train. They've got to make suggestions. They've got to say what they see as the solution or answers. And all those need to be synchronized into a social change agenda. Right? So, but some people are going to volunteer more time. Most businessmen would not volunteer at the time, but they can volunteer funds to make this happen. Okay. And when those people go out there, they are taking a plan that started from the grassroots. And I believe, right, that if we follow this, we're going to get nobody who is older than 45 should be in government in any young economy, any nascent democracy. I mean, seriously, what does this old order? There was one ambassador who was in his 80s. What does that mean? That we do not have Nigerians who are 38 years old who can run things better. I had some people call me and say they live in England, but they are frustrated and they cannot even renew their passport unless they still just asking them for bribes and all this type of stuff. We need the hand of the youth at the wheel. But the youth must create the freedom plan of 10 years to take over, and they must create the social change agenda as their flywheel, right? The flywheel is something that compounds or synergizes your effort to give you greater return.
Flywheel.
And if you don't do that, if you don't do that, you're going to have a fight. Some people are going to say Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani. They're going to start breaking you up. And the old order will do that. That's why I said you cannot have two parties. You cannot even have one. You must have only one party, and all of the youth must say we're standing and we're voting for only this party. Our parents, we advise you to vote for this party, but if you don't, we have enough to move this train forward. Right?
Yeah.
Because if Tinubu is a contestant in that next election, he needs to break youth up. He needs to break them up. He needs to promise some people money. If he's not, if there is another aspirant, the current, people who are in the corridors of power, they need to break youth votes up. But think about it. If youth decide to vote a man for their own party, where are those others? Where would they be? Because we who could vote for them, we are disenchanted, and we don't want what we're going through for our children. So we're likely to vote for that youth party. Right?
Yeah.
So they will still have about 30% of us, those who take things from them, contracts and things from them, and those ones will still vote for them. But I can promise you, if there is this freedom train mentality and the youth choose to be united, it will be a landslide. They should be able to take all 700 plus local government. They should be able to take 90-something% of state gubernatorial positions, and let whoever wins presidency be lowly up there. They should take the Senate. They should take the lower houses and the upper houses and prepare which laws do we want to change. So we change those laws, and then in 4 years later, they can now have an emergence of their own leaders. They can now split up in parties, because this PDP and the other one, they're likely to die after that, right? Infighting would happen. Everybody will blame everybody else for why they have no positions or in government. But if this youth can be the majority in the houses, the majority in Senate, majority in the House of Reps, they can create the new rules